I just want to have a conversation with you today. Typically when I am speaking to you, I'm speaking to you from a more controlled, if you will, maybe a more organized fashion with some notes and all of that stuff. I just want to talk to you. Just let's have a conversation for just a minute. Here's a question. What's stopping you from doing the thing that you're passionate about? Like I was having a conversation with my wife yesterday, actually, and we were talking and I was sharing with her, I said, I no longer have a passion for doing certain things. And one of the things that I no longer have a passion for is doing things that I no longer have a passion for. And so I started a quest on my life some time ago, a couple months back, actually, to begin to dismantle out of my life and to begin to divorce myself, if you will, from the things that I'm not passionate about. I'm working really hard to put people around me and to forge relationships with people and people who work with me in my vision. I'm working hard to give them opportunities to do the things that I'm not passionate about that they might be passionate about. And if they're not passionate about it, then, I'm coming to this realization that if there are things that I'm doing and engaged in that I'm no longer passionate about, and God hasn't seemed to send people into my life who are passionate about those things and who would love to take those projects on, then I just assume that that's God's way of saying I'm not doing that anymore. Just, Raymond, you need to leave that alone because I'm just not in that. And so for me, I don't know about you, but I know for me, this is not like here's 3 points to this or 3 ways to know this. I'm just going to share some things of my life. I've learned for me that whenever I lose passion and the joy and the excitement about doing something, I learned that that's probably most times that's God's way of saying to me that you're now doing this in your own strength. I'm just not doing this anymore. And you need to consider leaving this alone and moving on to something that I'm involved in. Because I just believe that when God gives you something to do, now, man, I feel God's presence. When God assigns you to do something, God, I felt that thing. When God assigns you to do something, He gives you joy to do it. He gives you a want to do it. He gives you an excitement about doing it. He makes it enjoyable. Now watch this. It doesn't, the enjoyment and the joy doesn't take out the hard work. It doesn't take out the long hours. It doesn't take out the suffering that you will go through at times in getting it done. But what it does is the joy that God gives you, it makes the suffering worth suffering through. It makes the pain of pressing through it worth pressing through it. But whenever there's no worth, you don't feel any fruit being bared. It makes you miserable. You don't like to get up in the morning and go do it. You don't want to be bothered with it. You do it reluctantly. Those are all signs that God might not be involved in. You have to discern for your life whether or not God is in this. But I've learned that those are times when God usually has exited the building in that situation. And I've got to find a way now to walk off the stage as well, or I'll be left there trying to do something and build something and keep something together that God said, look, I've already dismantled from that. But you got to decide, what is it that you enjoy doing? What is it that you're passionate about? And then you've got to do that. And you got to listen. You can't let people stop you from doing it. You can't let circumstances stop you from doing it. You can't let the lack of resources stop you from doing it. You've got to find a way to do it the best you can with the resources God has provided. And if He is in it, He will make sure that everything you need to accomplish it is there. That means that, let's take YouTube, for example. There's many people out there, there's many of you who want to do YouTube. You feel like you're called to do YouTube, but you're afraid to do it. You don't think you have the right camera. You don't think you have the right microphone. You don't think you have the right message. I stopped by to tell you, I believe that this is ordained. I believe God sent me by to remind you that he put that in you. And if he put that in you, then none of those variables change what he's called you to do. God knew that you didn't have the right camera. God knew what microphone you were working with. He knew the message that he had given you. He knew, just like he knew when he called Moses, he knew you had a stutter. He knew that you didn't talk well. He knew that you used a lot of ums and he knows about all that, but he still called you. Why? Because out of the billions of people on this earth, there is a group, there's a remnant, I call it a remnant of people, a selected group of people who needs to hear your stutter. They need to hear your coughing and your clearing your throat. And they need to hear all that. They need to hear your little giddy laugh. They need to see you just for who you are so that they can be encouraged, right? That God has called them, that they can be. And so your so-called imperfections is what inspires other people to step out in God's will for their life. So I just wanted to take a moment to encourage you that if you feel an unction, if you feel a pull in your, God, help me, Lord. If you feel a pull and a tug in your spirit, and you hear that little soft whisper in the back of your brain saying, hey, go, move forward, move into it. That's God. That's God's voice saying, look, I've called you for such a time as this. The reason you've gone through that trauma is because somebody else is going through that trauma and they need you. The reason that you went through that pain and abuse is because someone else is going through it and I ordained you. Listen, everything you went through back then, it wasn't for you. I was ordaining that for your life because there is a remnant of people. There's a group of people. There's some folk that need to be delivered. There's some folk. I allowed you to go through that 10 years ago because I knew 10 years later I would drop you down. I would parachute you in a season of somebody's life who is going to be experiencing something similar. And you have the remedy. Your voice, your face, your behavior, your character, your attitude is what they need to get past all of the fears and anxieties they've got going on in their life. Listen to me very carefully. I pray that something I have said has encouraged you. I pray that something I have said has given you some hope to move into the space God is calling you into. If you don't remember anything else I've said, don't ever forget these next few words. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. You are absolutely, positively, 100% unquestionably forbidden to fail. Purpose is waiting on you. Engage it. God bless you. I'll see you next time right here on Inspiring Transformation. Have a great day. Bye now.